Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is having a beautiful weekend. I'm here at McDonald Park in Forest Hills. I come here every weekend. It never fails. I love it over here. And every Sunday they have a farmer's market. They have really great fruit and produce over here. So if you live near Forest Hills, definitely come by and check it out. It's worth seeing. I promise you will not be disappointed. But I wanted to kind of catch you guys up on this past week for me. This week has been a very interesting week, to say the least. I know in my last video, I told you that I was doing a side hustle. I didn't really give too much information about it, and just because it's still new, it's still fresh, but I do want to talk about it a little more in this video. And I kind of want to talk to you about an experience that I had with one of my clients. So just to give a little bit more insight, the company is based overseas. The product that they manufacture and produce, they're trying to get more of their product in the US. And so basically they reached out to sales reps in the States to be able to sell their product on their behalf. That's pretty much the gist of it. Once I have more success with this side hustle, I will share a little bit more. I'm not comfortable talking about who they are and what they're about and what they're selling, just because again, it's still new to me. I'm still trying to figure this all out. And once I am a little bit comfortable with what I'm doing, I promise you I will share. But just to catch you up, I had a client who wanted to do a Google Meet to discuss more about our products. I guess I was a little apprehensive to do this meet, but I said, you know what, let me just do it anyway, because it may not be that bad. So I agreed to do this video Monday night, and I had pretty much came home from work and was just trying to get settled in, and I kind of wanted to know a little bit more what the customer was looking for. I kind of needed to know a little bit more about them, and so I did agree to do this meet. She decided to have her husband on, which was fine. I totally was okay. And once we had the meeting, everything was great until her husband started asking me some really tough questions that I did not have answers to. And oh man, needless to say, after that call, I felt so inadequate. I felt unprepared. I felt like I was a joke. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm usually never like this hard on myself, but let me tell you, that call was just not, I knew that I was not operating out of my best. And not to say that, you know, like I physically wasn't looking, you know, my first impression physically wasn't good. It wasn't that. It's just that I lacked a lot of the knowledge or the answers to her husband's questions. And, you know, granted, I should have operated from a place of grace, just because this industry that I guess I'm learning is a very tough industry. There's so much logistics to it. I mean, the product is being made in another country across seas. Then it's being shipped by boat, and then it has to get to the US. And, you know, there have to be, you know, a freight forwarder to get this product to come directly to the customer's home. There's so much that goes into it. And to be honest with you, a lot of the clients that I have that are filtered to me, they're not even in New York State. I'm getting customers that live in Idaho. I'm getting customers that live in California. I'm getting customers that live in Florida. And this particular client that I had the meeting with was in Florida. I'm not familiar with that state. I've never been. And on top of that, each state has different rules and regulations when it comes to selling a product like this. So there's that. After that call, I literally was just like, why am I doing this? Why am I even trying to make this even a reality for me. I don't need to be in the industry like this. This industry is not for me. You know, I'm a joke. My client probably thought I was a joke. I mean, this is what my inner voice was telling me, okay? And my partner could even tell that I was just like, I was really beating myself up. And, you know, he was trying to basically assure me, like, look, you did a wonderful job, but this was your first client, and that more will come. If this doesn't work out, then you'll still have more clients. There's still more opportunities, which he is right. And he was, you know, there's some truth to what he was saying, but at that moment, I just didn't feel that. I really felt like my first impression was trash. I felt very unprepared. I felt like I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And again, I should not be that hard on myself. But let me tell you something. Imposter syndrome came in hard and came in fast. I went to bed thinking that, okay, I'll sleep this off and then I'll wake up and I'll feel a little bit better. That didn't happen. I'm traveling to work and I'm thinking about that meeting, and I get to work and, you know, I'm still focused on this meeting and how I felt like I pretty much, you know, effed up and probably lost this client or lost out on this opportunity. And I just didn't really feel too great. And then I went on my lunch break and I spoke to my partner, and again, he was still trying to give me words of encouragement. And I at that moment, I didn't realize what I experienced the night before. And, you know, the next day, I didn't realize it was imposter syndrome. And it's really common. It's a really common feeling to have. Any new career change, if you're starting a new business, if you're just going into something new and you're not familiar with it, we have self-doubt. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough. We tell ourselves that we're not smart enough. We tell ourselves that we have no right to try to be in this particular industry. We tell ourselves that we're not going to succeed. And that's basically what happened to me the night after my meeting and the next day. And when I realized, oh wow, this is imposter syndrome. And I actually had a conversation with a good girlfriend of mine who is an entrepreneur, and you know, she's experienced that too. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's just human nature is what we do. And I had to kind of recognize that's what I was going through. You know, in the past, I've worked for different companies and I've sold so many different things. I mean, I sold jewelry, I sold clothing, I've sold headwear, you know, hats, I sold furniture, I've sold shoes. I mean, I've been in every aspect of retail. I even sold a little bit of, you know, technology. I was always confident in my customer service because I've done it for so long. I was in retail for basically 13 years. And when it came down to learning whatever product I was selling, I would always do my research. I would look at the benefits. I would look at the cons in comparison to, you know, competitors. And I've always felt prepared. And I think why I felt the way that I did was because I was not prepared. I always felt like first impression is always the best impression, and it's important. I never wanted to ever come across like I didn't know my shit. I don't believe in faking it till you make it. Sometimes it can kind of get you by, but you really got to know your shit sometimes. And let me tell you, when that client husband was asking me all these questions, and you know, he was familiar with the logistics because they owned a company and they were familiar with dealing with clients overseas, that I felt like was just testing me, which was okay. He had every right to, considering what they were looking to invest in. So I understood that. But again, it didn't make me feel good at all. I really wanted to share this experience with you because imposter syndrome, it's a real thing, and it's human nature. We all do it. But to be honest, what got me to realizing that I didn't have to give in was my past history. Look, anything that I put my mind to, anything that I was willing to learn, I learned it. And I made sure that I knew my shit. And any customer that I helped was always impressed with my knowledge of whatever product that I was selling. So I've always made sure that I invested that type of time in learning and to furthering my knowledge. And so that's basically what I had to do in this situation. You know, I have to really be intentional about making sure that I learn all of the logistics. And it's pretty extensive, considering that I have to learn every state and their laws. I have to learn the logistics in terms of, you know, shipping, you know, from one country to the next. So it is so much that goes into it. But what really kept me going and what's keeping me going is knowing my why. And what I mean by that is when you're getting into a new career, or if you're starting that new business, or if you're just doing something different that wouldn't be considered your norm, you always have to be considerate of knowing what your why is, why you're doing it. For me, the reason why I had an open mind to starting this or doing this opportunity on the side is because I saw a lot of potential in this opportunity. The opportunity to be able to have a flexible schedule. You know, the commission is a small commission, but because the product that I'm selling is a really high ticket price, you know, I could definitely be making a lot of money, more money than what I'm doing with my 9-to-5. And it doesn't require for me to physically get up and travel to a job to clock in. You know, so that's my why. My why is having control over my time and my schedule. That's all I care about. I don't care about materialistic things. This opportunity that I am doing on the side will and could provide that for me. But I also have to do the work. There's a lot of work that is in this, and I realize that now. So I have to just really be intentional. I have to constantly remind myself of why I'm doing this, and I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'll definitely get through this. But I felt like it was important for me to share this with you. If you have experienced this before, or found yourself going into a new career, or starting that new business, or just doing something completely new that was not part of your norm, please share that in the comments below. I would love to know about it. Look, it's important to know that we're not alone. We're not alone. Like, we feel like we're alone in this, and we're just not. You know, there are a lot of people who feel the way that we do, but we have to share with one another. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.